first year that MTV had the show Real World?
Yeah, because it was like my first year, I think, of college, maybe, or like the year before.
So that cast, which featured Muhammad, the black guy, right?
Uh-huh.
His band came and performed at our Say What conference, and we ended up being on CNN. And then that CNN,
what?
Kept that footage, because there's me like dancing in front of the stage, wearing my Xavier. I just found out I had gotten into Xavier University, so I had on a Xavier t-shirt, with a big matching yellow shorts, and I was just like dancing to Muhammad from the Real World on CNN.
Ask them to find that. They have that somewhere.
Oh shit! I had to think. What year was it? It had to be like 90s.
You're a name now, so you can like get stuff. You can just like ask for it, and it'll just be there because you're a name. And when you have a name, nothing is the same. When you have a name, it changes the game.
When you have a name?
When you have a name, it changes the game. You must adjust your aim and get ready for the fame because you have a name. That's how we teach word families.
Coming to you too easily. I was just going to say, like, okay, this is
kindergarten.
This is not all stupidity related. This is actually based on teaching pedagogy.
Yeah. Like, okay, so what do we only need to know? The beginning sound. Because AME says, aim. And then I have to listen the rest of the day where they're like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh my gosh, shut up. I'm so glad you're learning, but please stop pointing out it. Shut up. My least favorite family to teach was UCK because it was always, they're like, oh, look, it's like, and inevitably somebody would be like, I'd be like, it is, but I'm gonna write that one up here because I got bills. But you're right though, like, yeah, phonetically, don't say that, and also don't go home and tell your mama that you learned that. Hey. Welcome to Rappin Atlanta. I'm Nita Sharice.
And I'm Nikki.
And in this podcast, we have a frank, honest, and open conversation about the FX show Atlanta.
We have noticed that there are similar features in each show, and during our discussion, we offer our impressions on what those features are. There's a That's So Atlanta moment in each episode that most clearly and accurately depicts the spirit or quirk that is Atlanta and life in the American South.
Dariusisms highlight the special flavor the character Darius brings to the show because he is easily one of the most layered, complex, and compelling characters on television.
There always seems to be a mystical element or some strange thing that happens beyond all logical reason and sometimes scientific explanation. We've all experienced those kinds of moments.
And finally, the SGR moment is very plainly the moment in each show when shit got real and we are reminded that life is not a game and desperation has the power to motivate any and every possible action.
Today we're reviewing Season 4, Episode 7, Snipe Hunt, written by Francesca Slone and directed by Hiro Murai. Ern, Van, and Lottie make interesting discoveries on a family outing. Okay. So, your feelings on this episode?
It was a quiet one. And I kind of wish more had happened, but I still liked it. And we chatted just a little bit last night. I think what was appealing to me is it felt and looked familiar because, like, as far as my family set up, for those of you who don't know, I have one child. So looking at just the two parents with the little girl who really reminded me of my own child from her clothes, the clothes that Lottie had on, they're from Target and they're hanging in my child's closet right now. The boots were even similar. So my daughter, when she was trying to make up a reason to be out of the bed and needed some water, came out of her room with the water bottle, but like needed to go get some more. And then she's like slowly walking. She was like, I have those pants. And I looked, I'm like, yes, those are Cat and Jack pants from Target. And the top was familiar too. It may have been Carter's, I'm not sure. But just the whole dynamic of just how quiet it is, because you have the one kid. And if they're not a kid that's bouncing off the walls, you know, like sometimes only children, they get activated by other kids. And so the way she was just kind of like playing and they were sort of having their talk, you know, I was watching it thinking, I'm a little bit bored right now, like a little bit, but this is soothing. And then I realized like, oh, because this is my family. Like this is us. And this is probably how it would be. Except honestly, probably Lottie would have been all in Ern's face, basically saying like, we don't need her. Let's run away. That's the only difference that wasn't happening in this, in this family setup that would be happening in mine. I'll be in therapy soon. Don't worry, y'all. But I liked the leaps that their relationship is making, whether it's the right move or not. We finally, I feel like, kind of have an indication of like what's going to happen because they have been kind of pending for a while now. And so they were I mean, that's later, but it was a nice moment.
Before we even met them, they were in limbo, you know, and
Right. It's like if they didn't have that kid, they probably wouldn't, or they would probably still be in each other's circles because that's how it is when y'all like know the same people, but I don't think it would be so much meaning on it, which is why I appreciate what Van says to him later on, like what's holding her back. That's real. Like, I don't think that's unreasonable, but I enjoyed it for its familiarity and the music. Music was spot on from opening to closing. Their song choices were really good.
Sade, right?
Yeah, but like the ending, what?
I think it was only 2 songs: Sade, Love Is King, and Sade, Stronger Than Pride.
Yeah, it was only 2 songs. I'm not saying like, oh, the soundtrack was great. I'm saying like the lyrics that they highlighted as it was closing, like it went with the situation. And it was just a little, this episode was quiet and it was laid back and like, it could be boring, but it was relaxing. That's what Sade is to me. Like, I enjoy the music, but I don't listen to Sade before going out. Like, putting on Sade is what causes me to be that flaky friend and be like, I'm not coming, y'all. It's like that bitch put on either Sade or Kim. So it was just nice. It like added to the whole, like, it's just our family. It's just us. And we don't usually see that. Whenever we would see the 3 of them, they were in transit, somebody taking Lottie somewhere, or they were leaving a parent conference and like maybe at each other's throats kind of, or just tense about what the teacher said, whatever it is. I have never seen them just in a moment, just being a family.
No,
I don't think I have. So
I think, I agree with you. All of that, just seeing them as a family out in the quiet, but then also like understanding that Atlanta, like the hum and the drum and the hectic tone of Atlanta, the city, it is just Atlanta. Outside of the actual city limits, there's all this green space. And so with the opening credits as they're driving and you're seeing that canopy of deciduous trees, and it's like, oh, this is why I'm addicted to this place. You know, like sitting here doing this recording, when I look out the window, I'm looking at the same canopy that they show.
Yeah, they look like they shot this in your backyard.
Yeah, I feel like because of the scenery, like at certain sites, and then the river, and then that old brick building. I think that was Sweetwater Manufacturing Company, and I have linked to it. So there are all these ruins out in the Georgia woods, that manufacturing factories and whatnot that were either bombed during the Civil War, or they just, fell under disrepair and they're just still standing there. But you go out into the woods and you're still walking through history. And and the energy out there is just very, this place is it's magical to me in that sense. So that's what made the episode kind of boring, because it was so familiar for me in that way. Me and my boys spent a lot of time just in our backyard. It looks that way. But going out into the hiking trails and going out to like Sweetwater Creek and all of that. Yeah, it's so quiet. It's so quiet.
That's terrifying to me.
But when you're there with people you love and you care about, it's just nice to get away from all of that madness and the noise.
Yeah. Yeah. I think more terrifying in the way of like American movies, like movies that have traumatized me.
Oh, absolutely.
Blacks in the South in woods. It's just like,
Yes.
Like when they, like I was looking at them sleeping in that tent and I was thinking, would I be able to go to sleep? Like, would I be able to sleep like they were, like they slept good.
Yeah.
They slept. And Lottie has, her sleeping habits are just as offensive as my child's. Like, she was out of the frame. I'm like, this child. And then she's turning 6. So I was like, I haven't seen number 6. I'm like, oh my God, did you? Yeah, y'all are 6-year-olds. But I don't know if I would go to sleep. And I think if I woke up and everything was normal, I would be so shocked. Like, it's just, I just expect bad because I grew up in the South and I'm Black, and like, I never just voluntarily like, let me go to sleep and put my guard down in the damn woods. Like,
So I think that's part of the reason why. Okay. So we're driving. They have a little conversation. I think we should slow down now. There should be a turn off. You don't think we missed it? No, I think we're good. Which to me was just captured the entire. It just said so much. It was so representative of their relationship anyway. But we found out that he's bought out the entire campground.
What we also find out though is Van like gives Ern, and I told you so look when the guy says, hey, just a word of caution, you keep it about 5 miles, dogs, kids and such, and then she's like, and I was like, oh, they've been spying on Lance and I. Except I'm way more like, really, should we slow, I'm way more toxic about it.
Yes, be toxic.
What was that? Could you say that again? Should we slow down?
Wow. So anyway, no, I think part of the reason why he bought out the entire campground was to make sure that they weren't in fear. They had the entire campground when nobody else is supposed to be out here, and if somebody else is out there, I hope he was strapped up. Maybe he had the strap in his car, whatever, but that's just me thinking about that stuff because I would have been strapped up with my family out in the woods regardless. But buying the entire site, also another form of security that they got to enjoy. Yes.
And another little way of like, things truly are different. Things truly are different. Watching them with the Bluetooth, with the little screen up and comfortable, like a comfortable vehicle. It's just like, wow. It just reminds me of like what we often talk about. Like, oh, like this is where we are now. Like going to your ATM and like not having to say the ATM prayer for actually not even ever going to the ATM. Like I don't even do that anymore. I had to go to the ATM recently and was like, where you put? I haven't done this in a while. Like I was mad that I had to get out and walk. I'm just like, oh, this is just how far I've fallen.
Years ago, somebody said something to me about standing in line to cash a check, and I'm like, you went to a bank?
Yeah, I was like, they still got those? Oh, well, I just thought they were satellite location. Right, but it's like, oh wow, I'm here. Okay. I'm the people that I used to get mad about when I was at work and they're coming in trying on clothes at like 12:15 on a Tuesday. And I'm like, bitch, what do you do? Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, this is where I am. And it was so familiar because I'm grown now. It's like, your Bluetooth display, just being comfortable, being able to buy out a part, which I thought the same thing. I'm glad you said that. Like, that's one way to make sure that there's no crazies running around. Yeah.
But also, and I include this link in the show notes, going camping by yourself while Black. Actually, I can wait till Van says something about it because she does say something about it. But just being out stuck in a camping trip with people you don't like or you don't vibe with, she put it very nicely. But just recently, there was a Black man shot. He was Jamaican, so he went camping. He was the only Black person with a bunch of white friends. They shot him 9 times. And, his family was like, there was no reason for him to get shot. This is crazy. They took him out there and murdered him. And the white guy that shot him was like, oh no, it was self-defense. He was on shrooms. He was high on shrooms and he was threatening and all this other shit. The link is in the show notes.
This motherfucker went with a bunch of other white people and did drugs?
He was from Jamaica. He didn't know no better. Because I know Black folks born and raised here.
They don't know about white people in Jamaica? Y'all overthrew the fools.
You know about white folks in Jamaica, but like, no, I think that
we look up to them. Like for that.
I just think like I've seen it too many times where it's like it was a Black person from the diaspora will go on these outings. My ex-husband used to go shooting with these fools out in the woods.
Stupid.
And I'm just like, I'm going to do that. Or like, make sure there's another person of color that goes with you. Like, just because, yeah.
Scrub their face, make sure it don't come off too.
Like, I'll try. I mean, like, he's like, why shouldn't there's no reason for me not to trust this guy. And I'm just like, you're familiar with history here. Like, I was just talking to my sister about this the other day, where it's like when you're the only Black person in an all white space, it's not a safe space. It's not safe. And she was just like, well, like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm perfectly okay. I'm like, Sharice.
She thinks that she's perfectly okay, but she's gotten used to how she has to be. So she doesn't notice that you are now in this mode because it's become a second skin.
I think she just needed to be reminded, because I'm just like, it's not just that it's not a safe space mentally, where you're having to put on this mask and, comport yourself in a way. You're having to practice respectability politics, because you're representing for your whole race, but also they can get you by yourself and kill you. It's not a safe space. 8-year-old burned across 80% of his body at a white playmate's home. Seeks help. So Arkansas families demanding answers, accountability. Friend's house in Arkansas in August. They were preparing to go to Magic Springs next day. They were roasting hot dogs when a fire erupted. He got burns over 80% of his body. They covered him in Vaseline and plastic wrap.
Why did 911 never enter the conversation?
And they got pictures. Yeah, I'm gonna post this in the show notes.
They took pictures of the child?
Well, no, they've got pictures of the child at the medical center, at the hospital. And I was just trying to tell Sharice, it's like, no.
I'm judging his parents. I'm sorry. I'm judging you. You're not supposed to do that because you don't know, but I don't understand. Now 8, sleepover. Okay, that's a little older than I thought. You ain't got no cell phone. But then again, the child is burned, so he probably gaslighting him, like literally at that point.
I know that all the talk is about us moving to like a more diverse and inclusive world where there's equity and equality among. That's not it. That's not the reality.
That's not going to happen first.
But what the reality is. Like, Black people are not safe in all white spaces, and we get evidence of this all the time. Anyway, okay, they check in with dude. Ernest rented out the entire grounds. I noted that he's quietly studying for Lottie's 6th birthday. This is compared to the loud, obnoxious stunning he was trying to partake in during the first season, but he's just quietly stunting as it should have been. I like how Van asked if the dude might kill them in their sleep. And again, that's a reference to like, you always got to be thinking.
I was there for that. I'm like, yes. And I liked his percentage. And I was like, Van, why are you surprised? She's like, that seems kind of high. And I'm like, man. And then I remembered, she biracial.
Like, my percentage would have been at least like a good 13, 15%.
Yeah, I was surprised that it wasn't in the double digits. But then again, that 8% may have been due to the fact, like you said, he did buy out the entire campground. I feel like it would be higher if it was like other families and people, because you don't know who people are. You don't know who that is. It could be a group of white supremacists that are just right. You can't tell them apart. A group of white supremacists can also be the church youth group that's out there.
And also another thing, the history of the racism in campgrounds. I have a link to that in the show notes. National park segregation history, they're trying to change that because national parks, for the most part, have been segregated. So they would relegate like a very small area of the woods to Black campers or whatever, or they would make it like very difficult for Black people to obtain the permission to go camping. Mm-hmm. So this whole thing about Black folks not camping, it's right up there with Black people not swimming. It's not that
swimming, yeah.
The know-how. It's that there were things put in place preventing us from enjoying this shit. Then also, this is my last reference regarding Black people in the woods. I had to read On Walden Pond by Henry David Thoreau twice in fucking graduate school.
I had to read that, yeah.
I posted a link in the show notes to the Black people that lived on Walden Pond before Henry David Thoreau brought his wealthy white ass there. And because they were living there and surviving there. So it just seems so odd to me that national parks would be segregated when after emancipation, Black folks went out to the woods and had to carve a living out of that space there after being emancipated because there was no place else for them to go. And then when they want to camp there and like relax there, then no, they're not allowed to.
No. I mean, it's the same with the Maroon communities that sprung up down here in the swamps for people who ran to escape slavery, and they literally had to live underwater. I can't say underground, but like they had to learn how to like basically like, did that bush just like tiptoe? It's like, yeah, that's probably like somebody. Like, wait a minute, wait, what? Like whole Maroon communities survived and lived out there. And so it's like, that's what they know how to camp. But like you just said, well, y'all can do the day to day, you know, like the running for your lives. But like, you know, being survivalist on purpose is for the white man. Like it blows my mind, you know. So even like my thing that I told you that I said to myself out loud, like, we don't do that. I'm fully aware, like, why I think that, you know, because I'm just fully aware, you know, like I am a product of it. But I also know, like, we need to know how to do that, though, because anything goes on, you don't want to be the one that's like, how you do this? Like, you have to know how to survive. So the things that we Black people don't do, there's evidence that, like, yeah, we were doing it first, or we do this very, very well. Yeah. It's just when they want something, it can't be associated with us. And so, you know, yeah, that like there were whole communities that just like lived out of sight because they had escaped slavery. You either join the Maroons or you would hook up with the indigenous people and then Mardi Gras Indians. Like, but that was like those communities living on the outside of like civilization. So that's bullshit. It's bullshit.
I bet none of our motherfuckers thought you was gonna learn about Black history this episode, did ya? But we got you.
But the gag is we're gonna learn you something.
Okay. So Ern he was so proud that he had gotten the best tent. And I made a note, like, yo, don't listen to hardware salespeople, people in the hardware store or the sporting goods store. They will always try to sell you the most expensive shit. You don't need all that shit. You know, he didn't need a fucking 12-person tent.
But he was trying to have space. Like the minute he said, oh yeah, the guy said that this is the best one, I'm like, that dude made his commission for the month. He hit his goal. He hit his goal, you know.
But what was sweet, he's wanting them to have the best, you know. He's wanting everything.
I get it.
Yeah, my heart went out to him. I felt for him. Like, I was just thinking, okay, if he's asking her to go to LA, like, please let her say yes. I was hoping and praying for them, you know.
It's a testament to the writing that it wasn't a given that she was going to say yes. Like, they didn't set it up to where you're like, she's going to say yes. I was just as on the edge of my seat as he was.
Yeah.
And when she said, I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, I guess I wanted them to be together. I didn't even know. Like,
it was new.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I did, like, when she was telling him, you know, the body heat thing, I was glad that she was like, but it's okay. It's okay. But I was like, oh, just don't dash him. And this is me saying this. I live to dash. But I was like, oh, just, you know, don't. Because he's really, really trying. Like, he really cares. He's not some random nigga that's just, he really thought, I don't want to be huddled up. Like, I think I want to spread out. But it also shows Ernest like me. He don't camp. So, like, he didn't know that. She knew that. Yes. You know, which shows, like, the differences in their, you know, their backgrounds. But I was like, I'm kind of glad that she said that it was okay. But it was, I was nervous for him. And I felt bad for him. Because he was like, oh, I'm sorry.
I love the gentleness, though, because like you're saying, she didn't bash him, but their disagreements all throughout the show were so gentle, you know. And I think it also has to do with the fact that, again, they're not in the city. Like, I can't just stress how relaxing it is to be out there and away from everything else. You know, you're just focuses on something completely different. And so it was nice to have them in this setting where they're not stressed out by all the normal push and pull of life, you know, in today's society, just everything weighing on you. And then the race thing on top of that, just sprinkled on top of everything.
Yeah.
They weren't Black out in the woods. They were just a family. You know,
they were just a family. Yeah.
So they get the tent set up and Lottie's fine with it. And I just made a note. It's not perfect, but it works.
That was so cute how she just went. She's such a good little actress.
Yeah.
That little girl and it was all like stooped over. And I'm like, that's funny. And I was waiting for something to happen, like, oh, it's gonna fall on her. And I was like, no, because that's real life. Like, well, this wasn't exactly right, but this is fine for us. And if it rains, we're not gonna get wet, you know. So
exactly. So then I think we cut to the next scene where they're contemplating crossing a river. And, you know, they have an agreement that it's still gentle. It's like we either cross the river or we don't. And it still seems representative of like, it felt like every conversation they had was at its foundation about moving to LA. so yeah, this is another one. But it's just gentle. They go on about their day, and then they're going and eating by that Sweetwater manufacturing company. That's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. That's where she talks about the fact that she was in the Girl Scouts, and you know,
like, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so they're kind of rediscovering each other, and it's nice, and they're smiling at each other, and Lottie's kind of there. She's moping about, but
I was wondering like what's up with Lottie, but I think she kind of said it. Like she mentioned that she missed her grandparents. I think because when she said that, Ern kind of had this look like it never crossed my mind to even like ask anybody else to come. I think Lottie like wanted some more hype, which is a thing because she's by herself. It's like, it's me, that's my mommy and daddy, but they're grown-ups, you know? Mm-hmm. And they're grown-ups that treat me differently than my grandparents who probably let her have and do whatever the hell she wants. Cause you know, that's kind of toxicity that grandparents trade in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of like, I kind of did wonder about her. But I think it's pretty wrapped up in when she says about her grandparents. And then also like at the end, when she looks happy, it's like, that's probably what's bothering her too. Just kids know.
I'm sure she sensed like the tension, you know, between them. And because kids pick up on that, I think better than adults do. Yeah, that was heavy. Anyway, then she brings up snipe hunting. And were you familiar with the history of like snipe hunting?
It tickled something like way at the edges, because when she said it, I was like, okay, this is fake. Like, I feel like this is something like when people are like, oh, go find it. Like some of the things that I'll give Zoe to go do. It's like she will never finish. I did think that it was interesting that when I looked up snipe, everything came up as a bird and not what Van described like a fat. I couldn't find that anywhere, like with it being a snake.
Oh no, I didn't find it being a snake, but like I just found out like it's a trope. It's a regular occurrence with camping. You send the new camper off to snipe hunt or whatever, which seems like a really mean thing to do.
I was gonna say, and then they get killed by someone in a hockey mask. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody ever did that shit to me.
Because you were around Black people who were like, why the fuck are we out here in the first place? No. Yeah.
Like I've gone to like summer camps, like and Bible camp and shit.
Yeah, they probably weren't going to do that. Like, we don't want to be liable.
Yeah. So. But yeah, I've heard about it. And then also it's like a regular television trope, you know, sending one of the characters out on a snipe hunt. But then like usually with the trope, they end up actually catching the snipe, just like Lottie did, which yeah. So anyway, that was sweet. What she picks up the frog, and the frog is just twitching, and and Van has to explain to her it's just nature. I don't actually get why Van wanted to play the snipe hunt Hunt joke on her child. It's not something that I would have done. Vanna's kind of evil. Like
she does things that are like I don't think that she's a bad mother. It's like she obviously like loves her child, you know, like she altered her life in some way for her child. But there are sometimes, kind of like we discussed on the Tyler Perry episode, where she does things and it's like, man, what you doing, baby? It's like, oh no, baby, what is you doing? Like why? Because Lottie isn't the kind of child that's like, oh my God, like you need to calm down. The only thing I can think is, weren't they about to have the conversation? Like, I felt like maybe, is she trying to send her away because they're talking about this move?
Well,
because she did that, and then it was like, okay, baby, and then they went and they started talking, and like maybe she didn't want, you know, like maybe she didn't want her knowing, oh, there's a chance that we could possibly move, and then like, you know, you just don't want kids to know about that until it's going to be, you know, firm.
Yeah, I think they were both Ern and Van were fully prepared for a heated discussion when it came time to during the Snipe Hunt. You know, that I think Van kept putting off the conversation because she thought that there was going to be like, you know, some throws blown or some
bows thrown,
thrown, yes. Mm-hmm. So, but before that, though, Van explained like the history of snipe hunting to him. We didn't hear the entire conversation, but she was ending it as like, so we could tell her it's a bird because she was explaining like what it's all about, because he asked like, are we pranking our own child? Like, I don't agree with that, you know, which is kind of like indicative of conversations that all parents have about their kids, especially if they only have one kid or it's the first kid and you're trying to figure out how to do this shit because the kids don't come with an instruction manual. Like, what's wrong with it? What's going on? What did we do? Like should we have done that? You know? I like the ways in which they're really like showcasing young parenthood, you know? Meaning not like they're young people who happen to be parents, but being young in parenting a child. I don't care how old you are.
Just young to the experience.
Yeah,
like just new.
Exactly.
You know, just being a novice. Yeah, she has a little streak that, you know, I didn't like where she had Lottie. Like, bitch, that's too. It's dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
I was really waiting for like while they're talking, you just see something swoop Lottie out of the frame.
Yeah,
I have to remind myself what I'm watching.
Yeah, so that's why when she did actually catch the snipe, like I'm like, okay, whatever the fuck it is she caught, and it made a noise, and I've never heard, like, I'm not gonna say I'm a wilderness expert. I've spent a lot of times out in the wild. I like it; it's fine. But that whatever she caught, yeah, I don't know what the fuck that
invented by Steven Spielberg. Yes, I agree. You know, but thank God she rightfully looked scared when she was like, oh my God, Lottie. I'm like, okay, so you do love your child. Check. Okay. You're not actively like, well, I guess I can go to LA now. It's like, do you want her?
Yeah, she's just, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand where Vanna's coming from.
I already done told you what it is.
Okay. Anyway. Oh, another thing is, I love the shot of them in the boat in the water. It was such a beautiful shot, such a beautiful aerial shot. But then it also reminded me of the song "Row, Row, Row Your Boat." Gently down the stream.
Gently down the stream. Hallelujah.
Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. But so just be gentle and just understand your surroundings and everything. We're all making this up as we go along anyway. We're thinking, therefore we are. So just think gently.
We'll make things up as we go. That's Joy's song.
Oh, yes.
Come with me. Oh, that would have been the perfect, because it's just like, everybody's got a guitar and just floating on the water.
Everybody with those really wide mouth smiles, like that.
I'll be like, I'm gonna be over here in the camper that has granite countertops.
I would be like the Suge Knight of camping. Like, you could be over there in them tents. You come over here with a real camper. Y'all like all up in the water, all up in the dirt. I'm over here. You come over here with Nita if you want a camper. Right? Just like, why are you causing problems for no reason?
Camping is really not that bad. It really isn't.
Oh, I'm exaggerating. I know that. But I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to do. Like, I like what they were doing. Like, that was a nice tip. Like, I have seen people camp where it's like, are y'all trying to be, is this like survival cosplay almost? Like, do you want something bad? Like, I really did not mind that. That did look very relaxing. You know, it was quiet. As long as I can have like that kind of, it doesn't have to be that size, but like real tents, like things that look sturdy, you know, like I have seen camping before where it just looks like you took your curtains off the window and it's like, we gonna go real bare. I don't like that kind. Like they were roasting hot dogs, like, you know, like catching fish is fine. But like when I see people like eating the fish where it looks like the fish like just stopped breathing and they're just like sitting around the fire like that doesn't look good. Like I really did not mind theirs. And maybe it's because I live in New Orleans where there's just festivals. Because when I saw their chairs, I was like, oh, they got festival chairs. That's not what those are called.
Yeah.
But they look like they were out somewhere where it's like, look, they look like they were tailgating. It just looked like, are the Saints about to play? I'm like, I could do this kind of camping, this tailgating.
Even what Van and Ern did, I wouldn't do that shit. And I'm going to tell you why.
What? The hot dogs?
No, the hot dogs are fine. In fact, it was funny when they were eating them. He's like, I don't know, this is so good. Food during a camping trip for some reason tastes so much better. And people,
because you know it's supposed to be bullshit, and you're like, oh, okay, shit, good, get it out of here. This is wonderful.
No, people always say they end up packing food and like just taking steaks and stuff to grill. Like I'm sorry, every camping trip I've been on, it has been a luxurious experience.
Thank you. Okay.
Good. But also, when we go to campgrounds, and I'm talking about campgrounds in California, there is a shower and there are bathrooms. I'm not squatting in the woods.
That's what I'm talking about. I refuse to do like Harriet Tubman cosplay.
No,
that's what camping is. That's what, when I see people, it's just like, yeah, y'all, like, I'm lost. Look at the stars. I don't want that kind of camping where, so you mean tell me I need the sky to help me? Look, I am fully, I know what I am. I'm not trying to impress nobody. Like, I don't want to have to depend on things that seem too far away, like to get me home. I don't like that.
No, the access is crawled so we can fly. So that means if I'm going camping, all right, will I take a tent? Yes, I'll take a tent, and then we'll have our food, the sterno shit, you know, to cook, the grill and all of that. We'll bring these modern conveniences with us, but there better be a fucking shower with hot water and a toilet where it flushes. And see, that's why I love going camping, you know, Lake Berryessa, because that's where the campgrounds that have all that stuff. I'm not digging holes. You know,
yeah, I don't believe in that. I just feel like no. I feel like if one of these white folks catch me doing that, it's like, you see, they'd be okay. Slavers back. Like they know how to do it. It's in their blood. They're just fine. I was worried that they had gotten too soft with the modern conveniences of freedom, but look at them. They're right back in it.
If you're a Black person that wants to camp like on that level, fine, you should.
You're biracial. Oh, that's not what you're gonna say? Oh, sorry.
I have posted a link to Black People Camp 2. It's just a site with all this information. Actually, it's Black Folks Camp 2. It's a site with all this information about camping and everything. If you want to do that, that's fine. I just need I need shower and toilet. Okay. I require that.
Yeah, Lance, that's something that we've talked about. He actually wants one of those big things, one of those campers.
Oh, like RV?
Yes. Why couldn't I think of RV? Yeah, he really, really, really wants one. And I'm not against it. I'm just like, well, we're going to have a different type of house where there's somewhere to put that because we have nowhere to park that at all. But that is something that he, you know, like that's his little red sports car. Like he wants that, and he wants me to want it too. So what's good about that is he's like looking at the nice ones because it's like he's like, I know that I need to find one with like a jacuzzi tub, which not really. And I'm like, look, as long as it's cute and I don't have to sit in the front the whole time, then I'm fine.
Yeah, some people's RVs are really nice.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, wait, this is camping. And he always just shakes his head because he grew up like, like they had a hunting cabin and things like that. It's just two different lives, and then I'm me. So it's just like, but the toilet and the shower is great. If you camp with Lance, there's going to be probably only steaks. So that is a given. Might find a way to make gumbo out there. So
yeah,
and literally it'll just feel like this is tailgating. Like people do this outside of the Superdome.
We took lasagna camping. Like we had lasagna. Somebody brought steaks. There was like seafood. There was we had
this is Christmas.
Yeah, it was nice. Okay, so yeah, we got past the part. She catches the snipe, so now they're in the tent, and Ernest freezing because he's got no fucking big ass 12-person tent.
He was so cold.
Yes, it would be cold. People forget. I imagine it was summer out there from the foliage. It looked like it was still summer, maybe early fall at the latest. So it was still probably warm at night, but it does get cold outside of your house. You're just trying to heat yourself.
I forget that about Georgia. Like, because here it's just like it's hot and then it's kind of cool and then those are the seasons. And then you might die from a hurricane and let's start all over again. Yeah. Or like you go outside at night and it's like, yeah, I need to take a shower.
Yeah, it does get cool here, especially in the woods. Because the concrete is not releasing heat at night, or there's no concrete releasing heat at night out in the woods. It's just the ground,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure the ground has absorbed a little bit of heat, but not enough to keep you warm. So
she's like, why don't you just come over here? Like, this is so sad. Like that made me laugh. But she said, this is so sad.
So sad. He's struggling. But they have their talk, and I'm not sure like why he just didn't lead with "I love you." It's like say the last thing first.
Because Ern is still Ern. And one of the things that we use, or at least I remember saying at the beginning, like what drove us crazy about Ern, besides just like, come on, dude, like get it together. When you've had somebody in your life that long, there is a level of like taking them for granted. But I think in this case, he's like, well, you know that, like that kind of thing. And it didn't, in my opinion, did not dawn on him to say that until she said, something like to the effect of like, you love me as Lottie's mom. And then he looked like insulted, like, wait, she doesn't know. It's like, no, you need to say it. Stop acting like y'all have been in this loving, committed relationship since 2018 or before when we didn't know you. Because he knows how he feels. Mm-hmm. And he's a navel gazer. Like when we first meet him, it's just like, I just got to make it. I got to get put on. So he has been nose to the grindstone working. Now he has these ways that he can show, I'm the person for you. In my mind, to him, he's always been like, well, I love you. Now I love you and can take care of you, and not that you need taking care of, but like, at least at the very least, I can take care of our daughter. Like, you don't have to worry about like being in the classroom, like doing something that you hate, or just like trying to get by because you don't know if I'm going to have the cash for rent. I don't live in a storage unit anymore, which I still don't think Van knows ever happened. Or maybe she does now. Like, that seems like a thing that you would share, but I really do feel like he was like, she knows I love her. Like a typical, it's like, you need to say it. Things have changed. Like, how do you really feel? And like the little quiet stunting, which I'm not against it. Like, it must feel good to be able to do that and to show her. Mm-hmm. But what he doesn't realize is you have not said this to me since things have changed. So maybe you are just on some, I'm able to do this now. So like, you should just be good with that and just come on. I think it didn't dawn on him.
And the last time they actually had a serious conversation about the state of their relationship, what did he say? He was on some bullshit. It was some hurtful bullshit that he didn't have to say to her. when she has consistently, even throughout it all, even with their relationship being in this weird limbo purgatory state, everywhere he's been, she's been there too.
Mm-hmm.
She has managed to go with him. When he wanted to go to the fucking strip club, she was right there with him. In Europe, she was there. You know, she took off and did her own thing. She was there, but she's been with him every step of the way, you know, and she's been holding him down too. All he had to do was say how he really feels and what he wants. If he's working towards a plan and he always wanted her in his life, he could have said that from jump. And
I guess he's of the show not tell, you know, and like for all the reasons that you're saying, like she's been around, in my opinion, that is why he's like, well, she knows because you've been here. It's like, yeah, but you haven't solidified it as the person that you are now with the means that you have now. Because otherwise it's just going to look like, well, let's do it because we've just been together, which nobody wants that.
No.
And you know what? Some people are fine with that. And I think that that's why she was like, that doesn't work for me. Because she's acknowledging for some people, and no shade to them, that would be enough. Like, listen, I'm going to be taken care of. I don't hate you. Like, I do have love for you. That is enough for me. For some people, that would be enough. And for her, you know, it wasn't, because he had this look like she really thinks that. I'm like, yeah, nigga, she thinks that. She has to wonder that for herself. She at the very least needs to hear you say that that's not what it is. Because sometimes that's what it is. And the people don't even know that that's what it is yet. And when they figure it out, they're trying to move somebody else in because you've just figured something out.
His talk about, well, if I didn't want to be by myself, you know, I could get a bitch. I'm like, nigga, why are you leading with this shit? Like, no.
But he didn't say it in that way, though. I will give that to him. It was gentle.
He was giving me, though. Like.
Oh, yeah. But I think that needed to be, I wasn't in disagreement with him saying that. Because she was like, you don't want, because she did say, you know, you not wanting to be alone. Maybe if she had framed it as, you're used to me being around, maybe he wouldn't have to say that. But she did say, I feel like this is on some kind of, she didn't say it like this, but like, you don't want to be alone. And because I thought like, I don't think that's what it is, because he could get somebody. And then the way he did it was in an earned way. It was like, I'm not horrible looking. Like, he wasn't like, you know how many people throwing it at me, which is how like the average nigga would, you know, say that. But he was just kind of like, I could get somebody. I think he needed to say that because she framed it as if you just want a warm body. She didn't say what I think she actually meant was like, you're comfortable with me. Like, of course it's Van. And which, like we just said, that would be fine for some people, but not for her. She wants the person to want her for her and not for it to be attached to, I also get to see my daughter, because you know that's a concern. He even said that I'd see you like a couple times a year, which I think that we can assume that means you'd only be seeing Lottie a couple times a year, and he loves his kid.
Yeah.
And so I think she was like, I understood both of their sides. And I was glad that he finally got up, you know, braved the cold and was like, I love you. And I believe that it was sincere. You know, I'm really hoping that they don't mess it up.
I think he's genuinely always felt that way about her, but didn't feel like he could step to her. And so he needed to prove himself, and he did. But I just wish more guys knew, like, if we care about you, we'll take you as you are. You know, you don't have to be perfect in all of that. And I don't know, I guess he had to get rich and go to therapy before he could be emotionally intelligent. And
the two are pretty much linked because therapy ain't cheap. And I mean, that's the socialization that they get. Like, we've talked about the socialization that we get. Mm-hmm. They like, you need to be able to do everything, you know, because that social that comes from. And I think I heard, did my father-in-law say this to it was something to the effect of, you know, you need to be able to take care of your family, because even if your wife has a job, and I mean, there's truth to it. If she's having kids, like at some point for a little while, she won't be working that job. So like, you need to make sure that, you know, if that income drops out, that you're able to, and that's sound advice. I wouldn't call that's toxic. It isn't toxic. But if you're told that constantly, you probably don't feel like you can have a moment where like you're not on top, you know, and then add that to like, you know, there are a lot of women, Van is not one of them. So like, I don't know like what he was worried about that for. There are women who are like, you need to have at least, but she doesn't strike me
as that type of person.
I guess looking back on the company that she kept, and if we do the rewatch, she was hanging out with hot girls who got money, dating wealthy dudes that stunted. And perhaps she partook in it a little bit because she seemed to be going in that direction again when she was in Europe, and she met it with those friends.
Well, we know she did because of value. Her friend pretty much was like, "What's wrong with you now?" Like,
yeah, there was the value episode, but then also the Terraria episode where they were there to get paid to piss on a dude, and so I guess Ern was under the impression that he needed to be at that level where he could pay somebody to urinate on him.
Yeah, and also he just wanted to be at that level because I think that's normal. And we've talked about this a million times. Once kids come into it, it's like, oh no, I need to have, like, once kids come into it and you care about the kid, it's all about like, no, I need to be able to take care of them, because what are we all trying to do? Give them what we did not have.
Yeah.
And more, which is why we're like, why am I doing this shit? Like, why? Like you just said a few minutes ago or earlier, like, I never been indoor skydiving. It's like, we're almost like fussing about it, but y'all's like, I'm glad to give them that experience. Shit, I ain't having it. It's like, are you okay? Like, we're doing it, not begrudgingly, but doing it with the knowledge of like, many kids don't even know how lucky they are, because to them, that's going to be normal. And that's what we want, but it's also aggravating.
Yeah. I'm trying to, like, I'm figuring out what new ways in which to sell my ass to pay for an annual Ebo Brothers birthday party bash.
I mean, you're going to set the tone. Like, if you start doing this, people are going to be like, you know what season it is? It's Ebo season. Like, what are we doing this year? Your son's lives are going to be turned into a CW teen drama. It's like, where do kids go? Like, when you see these kids on like the Upper East Side, like scheming, and you never see adults. And they're just like, I already called the car to bring us to go get gushers. And it's like, where are the adults? That's going to be your sons. Where's their mama? Oh my goodness. So the Ebo bash is going to be in Vail.
Let that be the truth and reality. Oh my goodness.
With Gabe with his little headphones.
Will the ancestors be celebrating that? Because we are living my sons are living my ancestors' wildest dreams.
I feel like our ancestors would be like, okay. Like, seem a bit much, but okay. Like, y'all doing it. All right. Who will be the judge?
I come back as his grave.
Just like, I don't know why the ancestor has a walker. According to the Bible, you don't need no more of them things. Once you get up there, all of a sudden, it's like, I got a new body. I can run a 200. Oh, God.
Okay, so after they're in tears expressing their love to each other. It was so fucking sweet. I felt like hurling a shoe at the television.
It was really sweet. And I was tearing. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was like, oh, I realized I've been holding my breath. I was so happy. And is the next scene when they're packing up?
Yeah, they're packing up because it starts to rain. And once again,
they're brushing their teeth.
They're
like, supposed to rain. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's about to rain.
Yeah, it was raining as they were gathering their stuff. And so then they're back in the car and the shot.
But wait, you skipped what Ern said. It's his new refrain that really shows that he's come up. Leave it.
Just leave it.
We'll get another one. He said that about the car. That was in my straight thought. I couldn't get my straight thoughts to post, but I do have them. But yeah, I was like, that's just solidifying. We are in a new thing. You're just gonna leave that nice tent. And they don't care, and they get in the car, and Lottie's face was that was sweet. Yeah. That was really sweet. She knows what's up. So, like you said before, where they can sense the tension. So I'm sure she sensed they're relaxed.
Yeah. They're smiling at each other. Van is leaning into Ern as he's driving. It's just, yeah, it
was really nice.
Must be comforting. It was comforting to all of us. Like, there's so many times on television you have like the black woman, the black lead, black female lead, black male lead, and you just want them to end up together. You want them to have their happy ending because you see everybody else do it. But like, how many shows have we watched where like the couple just can't get along, or
they're just at odds? Yeah.
or like even in another show where it's an ensemble cast, all the other couples are getting along except for the black couple, you know? So finally we have this happy ending where the black family gets along and we like them. We like how they look together. We like everything about their energy together. It was nice. It was
earned. It wasn't no pun intended. Like it wasn't like a thing where, well, we knew this from the beginning. Like everything just kept working out perfectly. And she was like, you're in Europe, I have an internship. Like it wasn't like that kind of foolishness. It was like, no, y'all have been on some like, you know, I'm not fooling with you. Like she's had people, they've never really shown her really with people. They'll make a reference to it. But like with Earn, we've seen like social media posts with like random girls and things like that. And so it really feels like y'all aren't just falling into each other because it's convenient, because you actually did go and explore some other thing and feel all your things and work all your stuff out. There's more of a chance that you're going to be together because you don't have that I'm just holding on to you because I'm scared thing. Yeah. And so like I've never, you know, gone to see it's not even about dating others, just being alone or just not having, you know, that person. It really does feel like y'all deserve this, even if there was no Lottie, you know. Yeah. I think that adds to it because you've got this other person to consider and like, you know, are my decisions going to like mess her up? You know, how we put all that on ourselves. But she looks so happy. And I forget the lyrics that were popping up, but it was like, oh, this is so perfect. It was such a nice, quiet, you know, little episode. Like no shootings or lootings or things like that. They're just away from it all.
Just peace.
It was nice.
And it should not be revolutionary. And yet it is.
But it is.
You have like a peaceful love story come to a happy ending with two black leads and a child. And they're in the woods, like just defying, you know, stereotypes in every single way. It was great. It was beautiful.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really, really was. I liked when he said, I'm fighting for you. You know me. I don't fight for anything. That was funny.
Okay.
I was like, wait, what? Also, I don't care if he did that little test to see if Lottie was up. I'm like, that girl is not asleep. Kids know how to not answer you. I used to do that all the time. My parents would be calling me. I was asleep. And so I was like, Lottie is so eavesdropping right now. Years from now, she's going to bust out, I desire you. And I'll be like, wait. And then I was just kind of like thinking, I don't ever think I've heard them say, I love you.
No, they haven't ever said
that. I don't think they've ever said that.
Yeah.
In that scene where he tells her that he loves her and she says, I love you too. I was really waiting for Lottie to be like, me three. Yeah. That would have been cute.
She was sweet. I mean, she ran around the woods all day. They do get tired out, the little people, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. That's why you make them run. Just make them run. So hey, run the yard. It's going to be good tonight. I think we already talked about like her with the frog, but I did like her mindful parenting where she was like, this is nature and it doesn't belong to you. It's like she's intentionally like, this is how you get it to where it's like, your kids just aren't assholes. That's what you have to do. And there are people that will roll their eyes at that, but it's like, this is the work that needs to be done so that can be internalized. She's like, he let you hold him and now you can let him go. And I'm like, wow, what a good way to also just teach consent. Too, yeah. Like without sitting like a little child down and being like, one day you're gonna want to fuck somebody. It's like, because it's kind of like, how do you do that? Yes, I am one for like using real names for things but there's a time for things. And it's so easy to like miss the window because you're not sure if they can take it. But stuff like that can just teach consent just in general. Yeah, it doesn't always have to do with sex. It's just leave people alone. Like everybody deserves their space. Unless you're encroaching on mine, even after I done told you. Everybody, you know, deserves it. I just thought that was so good and simple, like how she put it, without being like annoying.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, those are my straight thoughts. So elements.
Yes. Okay, what was your thought? So Atlanta.
Well, my That's Atlanta, I mean, I kind of suspected that when I saw the scenery, kind of how you said, like, people forget, like, Georgia's but I was like, I don't want to take that. Like, I don't really live there. And also, they weren't in Atlanta. They were somewhere else, right? Because that wouldn't be Atlanta if they're out that way, correct?
Oh, it's Metro Atlanta, because Sweetwater is inside of a Metro.
Okay.
Yeah, the Sweetwater. There are so many different campsites and hiking trails within, like, the metropolitan area of Atlanta.
And that's what I wasn't sure about. I wasn't sure if it was one of those things. How you will still call somewhere New Orleans. It's like, it actually isn't, but it's but okay. But so what I went to was one of those, That's So Atlanta, but it's so black, is the way that, without discussion, when it was time to sing Happy Birthday, they were singing the Stevie Wonder version. Like, they just went into that. We do the Happy Birthday, but then we go into the thing and somebody does a little.
Yeah.
We start, and then it turns into an entire bounce song, and the cake melts. So yeah, that was my That's So Atlanta black.
My That's So Atlanta was the green space out here. I love the green space here. Like, my trees are my friends. I have made friends with my favorite trees in different areas of Metro Atlanta. So there are places I go where I'm just like, I come here to commune with this fucking tree right here because I love this motherfucker. This motherfucker is my bitch. Like, we have talked to each other.
You know what you sound like right now?
What?
What's her name in rap shit when she was doing shrooms? She was like, look at that thick ass tree. Sexy ass tree. She was like, zaddy ass tree. She was like, ooh. Look at that tree. I was like, oh my God.
Okay, I'm just going to say trees do have personalities, and my favorite tree, my favorite fucking tree ever is the angel tree that's on Gullah Island, South Carolina. That tree is...
I'm not familiar with that. I mean, I'm familiar with the Gullah Island, but not the angel tree.
Oh my God, I have a picture of myself in front of this tree. If you look at it's that Fat 40 vote, one of the pictures in that is in front of the angel tree. That tree is older than the United States. It goes back to like 1500s.
I'm gonna go there.
You gotta go. We gotta go. We should go.
We're supposed to go.
Yeah. The trees and everything. Oh my God. It's so beautiful out here. It's so beautiful that it's just horrible to think that so many horrible things happen here because this land is so beautiful. It's just like, it looks like a fairy tale, during certain times of the season. And then when right now the fall colors are coming in. Oh my goodness. I think if you're driving into Atlanta and you're coming up to 85, there's a section where all the deciduous trees, the leaves are just turning colors. And it's just like a yellow brick road effect.
That sounds so pretty. I love fall.
Yes.
This is my season.
It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. And this is why, even through all the fuckery that I experience here, it's just such an enchanted place because you can go out to the woods and forget all of that. Like, you could just be totally separate from it, except if there's some crazy white folks also out there in the woods with you. So you just need to go when they're not there. So.
Yeah. Okay. No Dariusisms.
Yes.
Except that I feel like Darius has seen a snipe before.
Probably eaten snipe.
I'm like, roasted snipe is best. Everybody knows that. Mystical realism. Seems like we're kind of on the same page.
Yeah. Lottie catching the snipe. There's no such thing as a snipe, but she still managed to catch it. And then that shit did make a distinct noise and wriggle the fuck away. It looked like it had like maybe like it was the serpent from the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
Giving me those type of
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was very weird. Like, now we're in an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah.
Like, where there's like a town of snipes like watching them or something. It's crazy. SGR moment.
Okay. Oh, of course, when they had their heart to heart and it's all laid on the line, they're in tears expressing their love for each other. They're talking about how great it is to be a family. They have Lottie. They made this miracle. It was just like, yay, Black love.
Yeah, I was just so happy for them. Like, and they're going to be okay. They're not going to have... It's like I'm really realizing how much economic stability is a constant, like,
buzz in our ears. And I'm definitely not saying, oh, it's just Black people, but like, I ain't talking about nobody else right now. I'm talking about us. It's just a constant, like, even as you're enjoying birthdays and trips and vacations, it's just always there. You have to think about it, except for maybe little times you might get a windfall, and so for a second you kind of see maybe what rich people feel like, but it's not like you can ball all the way out. Like you can see it on, oh, I have this windfall, so I'm able to do this one thing. It's not like, oh, fuck it all. It's like, nah, I'm not stupid. But seeing them drive off and just knowing that Lottie is going to be okay, that Van is free to figure out her shit and doesn't have to have a plan. Like your life just doesn't feel like one long freelance, like just constantly like, how am I gonna? And he has the kind of job where, yes, things can certainly dry up, but when he gets paid, it is amounts that he can do multiple things with. Save this, put this aside, take care of these current things, invest in future things, different types of investments. Like they're going to be fine. And that just made me so happy.
Yeah.
So
we saw a whole episode of Black Joy. I bring that up because my sister was asking me, like, what's your definition of Black joy? It's like the ability to feel completely free and happy within that freedom without the white gaze, because anything and everything related to that could be construed as a risk to that Black joy, it's been removed. So I think we're not only happy seeing them, get on, but also this is the same happiness we both felt, I believe, with Alan and Darius, that they're not struggling either. It's just nice to turn on your television and see these Black people living their lives and
like eating. Yeah. And calm. And then it shows you, like you were talking about, the Black characters always being at odds. How much of that, though, is like insecurity about if you're going to be able to take care of yourself and your family? Like how many arguments are like about one thing, but it's really just because I don't know what's going to happen. So like, I'm really stressed. I'm upset that you decided to do this and we didn't talk about it because what about, all of these things, we're paying all this money because our kids need to be here because unfortunately we have to pay for the environment. We don't necessarily want them here with these people, but we also, a certain type of Black person, like just because our kids are Black does not mean that they need to just get used to seeing certain things at school because of living situations that bleed over. It's all that shit. Yeah. And it's like, it really made me evaluate like the ways in which I engage and how much of that is stress, like economic stress and like social stress because of economic, just all the shit that everybody deals with, but it's going to be an extra layer with us because even when we do have the money or the means to get into certain places to provide our kids access, we still got to worry about foolishness because we're there. And so there's never a time, like you said, like Black joy, Black joy is us being able to truly exhale and not having to be on our guard or look for like double speak. Or are you trying to set me up for something? You're trying to do something to my kid, which is another level of like, I'm about to blow up on all y'all if you're harming my child, like in any way. So that's a lot. And not enough attention is paid to it. And I was reading something recently where there's somebody, I think it's an African woman, who is actually, I think she's one of the first people to start a study on Black trauma. Yeah,
the psychological effects of slavery and how it affects us here and now today because of that trauma that's embedded in the DNA and because of the systemic injustices that prevent us from experiencing joy. We just did our elements. So we're looking forward to next week's episode.
You always say, and that's our show. You say that a lot. So I'm listening for the That's Our Show.
That's our show. Thank you for watching. Rappin' Atlanta is recorded and produced by Nita Sharice and Nikki Ibo. Our theme music is Joy Clark's Galaxy Groove, performed by Joy Clark. Discover more about this talented artist at joyclarkmusic.com. Rappin' Atlanta's artwork is created by Prime Vice Studios. Learn more about this intellectual property development agency at primevice.com. You can find us on your favorite podcast player as well as YouTube. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and follow Rappin Atlanta on Twitter and Instagram at Rappin Atlanta.